fatal heart impacts, past painful scars. In fact, I blast tasteful bars and pass. I back up my actions, fact don't ask, grab reactions, jacked attack with every word, then act with class as they hear me snap. I got nothing to lose, cause I fought and felt the bruise. Now I'm not the one confused, call the shots and they produce. I ain't lost, I'm finally loose, pick a new silver excuse. I need the views to boost me to a new abuse of being used. Everybody wants a piece now, y'all can rest in peace now. You're dead to me, so peace out. Remember, you're discreet out. Get ready for defeat now.
Alrighty. Hello everybody. This is Kirusho here. And now, before I do begin or continue with this is a one-shot. I know that might sound disappointing to a lot of people who were expecting this series. Now, I do apologize for that. However, I do want to see how you guys do respond to these. Over on my community tab, I will be posting at least a question. Do you guys enjoy the one-shots? Since YouTube removed their dislike feature and I can't see that anymore, thanks YouTube, it's hard to tell if you guys do enjoy the content. So instead, I'll be using this method to see what you guys do think. Now, with that being said, I did actually think of a better way to do this one. I know the way I posted it in my community tab, I talked about Deku being the owner of a nightclub. However, I might use that in this one shot and actually change it around if I do make it into an actual series, since I did think of a better way to do it. Now, with that, let us begin. We will start with Izuku Midoriya. Now, in this timeline, Deku, he actually is the son of a pro hero. And this time, Deku's father, he has a quirk. His quirk is quite simple. His quirk allows him to freeze anything he does look at. It will be frozen in place. And because of this, it basically means that anything Deku's father does stare at is basically rendered immovable, or quite simply frozen in time. Now, it's quite an interesting concept. And because of Deku's father and his power, he was actually quite a good pro hero. In fact, he was actually the reason for a particular villain dying, thanks to the help of All Might and a team up. And well, there actually was whenever Deku he was born. Now, Hisashi, he one day failed on his mission. He's a pro hero. Sure, he can accept the death of a villain, but one day while he was at work, he failed. He didn't save people. He tried to stop villains and he was given a choice. Whenever he stopped the villains, another pro hero was trying to save people. However, upon them getting in his line of sight, he looked at them, freezing his ally and the civilians as the villains were also still frozen there. Until ultimately, all of them were killed in a building collapsing. Now, with that being said, Hisashi's father got quite a bit of backlash for this. And he did actually feel like shit. He accidentally murdered his friend and innocent people. He knows it was an accident, but nobody else understands. There's probably only one other person who understands exactly how delicate eyesight works. Of course, Hisashi's father, he didn't face jail time, but he wished he did. Instead, he just got his hero license revoked, and he was no longer allowed to participate in hero work. Now, Deku's father was quite devastated by this. His entire career was ruined by one thing. And then there's All Might. All Might didn't even try to step up to defend him. He helped that man kill somebody. And even then, he's not helping him now. He just feels angry by it. He wants to lash out and scream, but he doesn't need to. He doesn't want to. He sees it as his own failures. And he hates it. He hates himself. Now, because of this, Deku's father, he actually was not really that much of a good man anymore. Sure, he was a former pro hero, but now he doesn't really know. He tries to still be better, he still tries to be himself, but whenever Deku at a young age was developing his quirk, let's say around the age of 4 years old, Hisashi noticed something. Deku didn't get a mix of him and his mother's quirk, or his and Inko's quirk. Deku, he got Hisashi's. Now, Hisashi was frozen. Quite literally, whenever Deku first used his quirk, he didn't know what to do. He didn't know how to respond to his son having his power. He saw the joy in his son's eyes. He saw the way he just seemed happy. Happy about the power he hates. Now, Hisashi at this point is very unstable. And he does do something that ultimately does land him in jail. As Deku, he does end up growing up and getting his mask. Now, with that being said, a lot of things happened here. The neighbors, they heard the chaos, and they only really were able to call the police, and the police only arrived after Inko basically died trying to protect Deku. Deku's father landing up in jail, and ultimately being sent to Tartarus. As Deku was taken to a hospital, and they tried to save what they could. Now, they did not succeed, and Deku was left very scarred. And as time went on, he just tried to live with it. Mitsuki, she offered to adopt Deku. However, with the way things were for them, the process would be long and not easy. They don't really see it as their immediate family. Sure, Deku may know these people, but realistically, these people, they're just people to the authorities. They don't have the jurisdiction to just sweep this kid up and adopt him. And they can't really ask Deku. The boy's in a fragile mind state after what happened. He's fucking traumatized. They haven't even gotten a single word out of him, not even a scream or a sound. And they don't know. Now, Deku, he would have ended up in an orphanage, where life was tough and difficult, up until the age of 18, jumping in between foster homes and eventually being able to escape the system. Now, Deku, he tried to find work, and ultimately he did land a good job as somebody who does work at a nightclub. Now, as time went on, he did actually become good friends with them, or at least the owner in charge. And, well, after an unfortunate accident, a few years down the line, let's say when Deku's around 22, he was able to actually get the nightclub in his name. Since his friend, more or less, he at least talked to Deku about it in case something ever happened to him. And sadly, it happened. Now, Deku, he was actually pretty sad that his friend did pass. However, he did honor his friend's last request and partied. Partied like doctors were going to kill everyone the next morning. And they didn't care. As Deku, he's currently taking a swig from a, well, cup, he does go to walk into the back. As he does go to grab another bottle and go to pop it open. As he does go to pour it into a glass and go to actually grab an ice cubes, throwing them into his glass as he does hear something. Now, Deku, he does hear it next to the emergency escape door, as he does go to walk over that way and actually somewhat adjust his mask. Now, Deku, after walking over, he does go to actually open up the door, as he does look outside and he does at least go to bring his hand up to the gun he has in the back of his waistband. As Deku, he does at least get ready with his one good eye. Now, Deku, after looking around, he doesn't really see or hear anything, as Deku does ask if anyone's out there, since he does have a gun. Now, Deku, he does hear something, as there actually is whenever he does go to turn to his right and go to throw open the dumpster. Now, as Deku does go to throw open the dumpster, he actually does activate his quirk. As Dobby, whenever she does get exposed, clearly, she does actually go to try and activate cremation. As, for one quick second, flames went out of her hand before they suddenly did just stop. And Deku, he actually started to walk to the right and look right at Dobby, talking about how he doesn't know exactly who they are. However, if they're going to be hiding in the trash, they should know that it's got to be pretty smelly in there. Along with that, hiding there isn't really that good. Now, Deku, he does just point a gun, as he was going to bring it right to their face, talking about how this is a firearm. And he's going to ask them once he blinks, in about 20 seconds, exactly why they are hiding in his trash can. Now, Deku, he does then go to blink. After, Dobby, she's going to turn off her quirk, and just going to bring up her hands. Now, Deku, his eyes do start to adjust. As Dobby, she does try to look towards Deku. All she can really see is that one glowing eye. That's gotta be his quirk. She can't move her hands fast enough. If he wanted to, he could immediately activate the quirk before her flames could even reach him. And it's kind of bad. Now, Dobby, she does just stare up at Deku. As Deku, he actually does go to look down and see that she's wearing a white shirt. However, there's a blotch of red on her side. So, about that reason, it's probably not a good one, but it's, well, it's a good one to me. So you're injured. You a pro? No, I'm not. Okay, that's something. Now, Deku, he does hear police sirens, as he actually is going to look towards the end of the block, as a cop car does start to roll around, and Deku, he does just look towards Dobby, as she does just look at Deku. Now, Deku, he immediately does going to do one thing. He does go to tuck his gun in his waistband, telling her not to move. As Deku, he does go to turn and go to grab a bag of trash, before going to actually put it into the dumpster and then go to close it. Now, Dobby, she's kind of confused. As Deku, he does just tell her, very quietly, that she does need to stay here, and he'll handle this. Now, as the police car does actually roll further down and actually stop at Deku, they actually do ask questions to him. As the guy sitting in the driver's seat does ask Deku if he's seen someone who looks very sketchy. And Deku does ask the officer to explain a bit more. Well, you know, sketchy? Like, what is it? They got scars all over them. It's a female, black hair, scars covering her entire body. She's currently a person of interest. Why? We believe that she may have been involved in a crime. We wish to talk with her. And currently she outran pro heroes. It's not exactly too much known exactly what happened, but police officers may have been able to tag her. To tag her? You mean shots were fired? Yeah, that's what we're talking about. Have you seen anyone around here? Heard anything? Saw anything? Now, Dobby, she does just wait. This guy's about to expose her. And she can't trust him. That being where she actually does go to reach her hand up and actually start to push on top of the lid, as she does start to slip one of her fingers out, before she actually does hear Deku say loudly, "No, I haven't seen anyone like that. In fact, if you're looking for someone like that, the alleyway right here wouldn't be the best option." Huh? What are you talking about? Sir, I used to be a runaway whenever I was younger. Besides, about 3 blocks over down the road, there's an abandoned house. You might want to check there. Now, the sirens do immediately go to flip on, as the cops they do speed out of the alleyway in taking Deku's recommendation. They know there's a house down there. However, they wanted to check the alleyways first. And Deku he actually is going to spin around, as he does walk over and going to throw open the dumpster. So, you're not a hero. And police are after you, along with pros. Interesting. Yeah, whatever. So, why'd you do that? Oh, come on. I've stolen my fair share of things when I was younger. And along with that, well, it doesn't matter. However, scars. That's something I'm curious about. Now, Deku is going to reach out a hand, as Dabi she is going to reach out her own. And Deku, the moment he actually does see her arm, he does understand what they're talking about. Now, Deku does pull her out of the trash, as he does go to walk open to the door, or walk over to the door and open it up. As Dabi, she actually does see Deku's face now. Deku, he has his sleeves rolled back upwards towards the bend in his elbow. And there's actually a mask covering his face. What the hell? His arms. They've got scars on them. Now, she does stare at Deku for a minute, asking about the mask. That's personal. Sure it is. So, what exactly happened? Let's just talk about something else. Why? Daddy dearest? That's not a good subject for me either. Alright. Let me guess. You used to be a pro or some sort of high schooler, right? And someone hurt ya. Not exactly. Now, Deku, he does just try to think. Okay, cops show up in the alleyway, and now the party doesn't really sound like it's going on anymore. Shit, those people must have ran out. Fuck, they're probably carrying illegal shit. That's not even allowed in this club, and yet they still came with it. It's not his problem if they get caught. Now, Deku does turn towards Dabi, informing her that she stinks, and that she does need to take a shower. Huh? This is a nightclub. Yeah, and I'm the owner. Besides, there's a room upstairs. You can shower up there. I'll lay out some clothes for you. Oh, whatever, man. Now, Dabi, she does go to leave. As Deku, he does go to take a swig from his drink. Daddy dearest. Not someone he's thought about in years. Someone who he wants to take a stab at. Now, Deku, he does just try to think. He doesn't know who this chick is, but she's in trouble with the cops. And pro heroes, so that's fun. Oh well. He can help her with whatever he can, and this being where Deku, he does hear something upstairs. And he doesn't really go to turn and walk towards the staircase. Now, the moment Deku does get over the staircase, he does actually find Dabi, as she's laying at the top of the stairs on her side. Deku quickly running up and going to actually pick her up, as Dabi shows winsome pain. And Deku, he does realize something. The cop talked about shots fired and tagging her, so he must have grazed her with a bullet. Now, after Deku he does go to pick her up, he does just do one thing. He goes to take off the large jacket covering her, as she does actually talk about how Deku he needs to stop. Before Deku he actually does go to pull up the shirt on the side that actually does have the blood on it. You need to stop. Why are you helping me? Don't worry about it. Besides, you're in pretty bad shape. Now, Deku, he actually just walk over to the bathroom, pulling the first aid kit out and walking back over, as he does tell her that he does actually have a name, by the way. Oh, what is it? The name's Izuku. Izuku? Yeah. What's your name? Tori. No. Deku, he actually started to clean off the wound, as he does tell Tori that this is probably going to hurt. From what he can see right here, the wound, it isn't a graze. It's actually a hole. And she does actually at least seem a bit more surprised by that. Now, Deku does try to explain to her that right now she's probably going to lose a lot of blood, and that he would recommend her going to a hospital. And she does talk about how she can't. Yeah, I know. Listen, I know this is probably gonna hurt like a bitch, but I'm gonna try and do what I can. And this is probably going to hurt, like a lot. But I'm gonna pull this bullet out of you, and then I'm going to need you to cauterize this thing. I'm gonna sew it closed as fast as I can. Do you understand? Now, Tori, she does just, well, think. Okay, this is going to hurt. Now, she's actually more surprised watching this Deku. He does going to stand up and go to walk away. As Deku, he does return about a minute or two later with a bottle of whiskey, some towels, and some stuff from downstairs. Along with it is the fact that he's not wearing his shirt anymore. And she does just stare at Deku for a minute. His body, he has more scars. Now, she does just stare at him. As Deku, he does hand her the bottle, talking about how she does need to take a swig of that. And then she's going to need to have to bite down on this rag. Now, she does actually go to do these things, taking a swig, biting down the rag, and then actually watching as Deku, he does go to do one thing. He does go to freeze her using his quirk, as he does quickly start to get to work. Deku taking a pair of pliers and trying to get the bullet out. As Deku he does successfully grab onto the bullet and start to pull it out. As the moment Deku does actually pull it out of her, he does go to do one thing. Dropping the bullet onto the ground and going to grab the needle and thread he's already prepared. As he does go to do one simple thing. He does go to blink. And in that moment, as soon as, well, Dobby is able to move, she does immediately go to actually jolt in pain. And Deku does go to at least open his eyes 2 seconds later, as she does go to freeze. And she's trying to think, that fucking hurts. Now, Deku, he's able to actually sew this wound closed, as whenever he does unfreeze her, she actually does have her hand already on her side. Thanks to Deku, and she does go to immediately activate her quirk. Now, we do actually have about, let's say about a few minutes after that, where Dobby, she's at least trying to think about everything. And she's wondering, why did this guy just help her? As she's just sitting there with, well, her dirty clothes and that bottle of whiskey, wondering. As Deku does come back into the room, he does at least have a different shirt on now. And he does could actually toss a set of clothes onto the bed. As she just go to look down at them. What's that? Well, that is some of my clothes. This is my friend's room. Your friend? Yeah, he died. And well, honestly, I don't know. I haven't cleared it out yet, but I don't want you wearing any of his stuff. He has a shower, I have a shower in my room. You can stay here if you do need to. I don't really care. I just ask you don't burn shit down or really just do anything bad. This still doesn't explain why you helped me. I've been in some pretty bad spots before. That's why. Along with that, I'm kind of fucked up. So, just think about it like that. I'm just being a good Samaritan. Or really a good guy. I know whenever I've seen someone in trouble before, I've been there. Now, Dobby just watches Deku's expression as someone goes sour. Deku had to use his quirk a lot more than he wanted to tonight. He's already thrown drunk assholes out of the bar, and then there was actually helping her. He doesn't really like it, but he did ultimately do some good with it. Now, Dobby does notice that sour expression on Deku's face, asking if he's good. Yeah, I just don't like doing that. Using your quirk? Yeah. Now, Deku, he does just go to leave for a minute, and have a drink to himself, since this place is all quiet now. As we do have where Dobby, she does go to hop in the shower, and she does just try to think. The guy with the mask, Izuku, from what she knows already, he's a good guy. He helped her. He didn't ask questions. He covered for her when the cops tried to find her. And so far, she's fine. She can't trust him though. If she gets out of here and cops are waiting for her, she's gonna be in a lot of trouble. But that doesn't make sense though. He got the cops to go away. That then there's the fact that she can stay here for the night, recover, and then head somewhere else in the morning. Now, she just does wonder that. And then there's the fact that this is a nightclub. Why is there a room up here? And a shower? Is this place also like a home? That's weird. Now, as Dobby does go to think that, she does just get out of the shower and change into the clothes that were given to her. As she does have a pair of sweatpants that do at least have something to tighten them, and, well, a long dress shirt. Now, she does get to walk down the staircase and look around the area, as she does actually find Deku in, well, what could be best described as a living space. Now, this is like a large family room, if you don't want to give it that name, or living room, with a dining room and a kitchen. As she's more or less confused. What the hell? Yeah, I know. Now, she does go to look up and see Deku sitting over in the kitchen at the bar. As she does ask why he's not downstairs. That stuff's for business. Didn't stop you earlier, did it? Not really. However, I don't really give a shit. What are you doing? Up. Aren't you gonna open your injury? No. I cauterized it pretty good. It should stay closed for a while. I just don't need to run. So, well, what's up with your whole deal? My deal? Yeah. You aren't a hero. You just work at a nightclub, own it, and you have that many scars in your face? What's your whole thing? My whole thing is I don't want to talk about it. Okay, and I'll tell you my whole deal with my scars. Let me guess. Some punk asshole fucked with you the wrong way. And he burned you, right? No, actually, it's not. My dad did this to me. Now, Deku Himi does go to squeeze onto his glass a bit more after hearing that statement. As Todoroki, she does actually notice that. Now, Dobby, she's kinda just surprised. Deku's whole demeanor, she felt the air in the room shift. It was that intense. Now, Deku is going to turn around, asking her to explain. What is there to explain? My dad's a fucking psycho. Join the club. She's kind of confused what Deku does mean by that. As Deku, he does gonna do one thing. He does gonna pull up the mask and then gonna set it down on the counter to his right, telling Dobby that if she does want to, she can join him. As Deku does gonna actually take the bottle and go to pour an empty glass for her, as he does gonna set it to the side. Her walking over and sitting down next to him, as she does see the side of Deku's face that it is not covered by the mask, asking him if he really does think that she can or he can relate to her at all. Now, Deku, he does just look at her with his good eye, telling her that he can actually, as Deku does actually go to spin on the stool he's sitting on. And Todoroki, she does actually somewhat just take a step back for a minute, as she does just stare at Deku's face. The area around his eye, it's completely scarred and well messed up. And then there's the socket itself. From what she can see, it's been almost completely destroyed. It's been sewn shut, and, well, it's just the scar that's been left there. You can tell it's deep. Now, you do actually where Deku, he does go actually bring the mask back up. As she does actually see that the scar does not just run down past Deku's nose. It does actually run down to part of his cheekbones. And so it cut into his mouth. And it does just almost go all the way back to his ear. Whatever was used to try and do that to Deku, it wasn't a small knife. Now, Deku is going to grab the mask, as Todoroki, she actually is going to grab Deku's hand. So, I get it. Do you? My dad's a pro hero. Whenever he lost his job, he killed his friend. Then he did this to me just because I reminded him of himself so much. That's fucked up. I can relate though. Now, Deku does look at Todoroki, as she's just staring back at him. And Deku, just asks exactly what does she mean. My dad's endeavor. Whenever I was younger, he ignored me. I wanted to learn about my quirk, and he just did nothing. One day my quirk lost control and did this to me. Afterwards, they thought I died. Never saw me again. They didn't even look for me. Hold out hope that I was alive. Just moved on. Nothing was ever said about it. No autopsy, no body, no anything on the news. I felt betrayed. You felt like they did that to you. On purpose? Yeah, I did. But I do have a question about your mom. Did she try to stop it? She did. She's dead now. God bless her soul. Now, Deku is going to actually look towards Dobby, as she actually has someone scooted a bit closer. This guy, from what she's hearing right now, it sounds, well, he knows. He knows. They've been through it. They know everything about each other already. The experience, what it's like, exactly what they know isn't something you can just put into words. Now, there actually is where Todoroki, she does actually ask Deku if he understands what it's like to want revenge. I do. Every day I want to go to Tartarus prison and shoot the bastard. However, I know right now, with the way I am, half a bottle of whiskey and a clip full of bullets, I wouldn't make it past the front gate. I get it. I want to kill my dad too. Now, Deku, he actually is going to bring his hand up and put it on Todoroki's, as she actually is going to look down and somewhat wince. And Deku, he did notice that, as there actually is where the two, they do just stare at each other for a minute. The silence. Before both of them, they do somewhat just lean forwards a bit more. As Deku, he actually is going to grab Dobby and pull her in. The two, they are clearly not in the right mindsets. They're both drunk, and, well, let's just say it ends with Deku carrying her off. Now, with that being said, I do hope you guys enjoyed. Have an amazing day. I'll catch you guys in the next one shot.